Today we're going to do our Chartplotter install, so we have all the things we need to do that. Sealant, sealing the project up when we're done. Blue Sea inline fuse holders. Some wire clamps. Screw into the aft berth to hold the wires. The old toilet ring. A couple wax toilet rings. I'm going to use that to mount the transducer. Hopefully. Not so sure that's going to work, but we're going to give it a try. Some rubber grommets. This will allow the wires to go through our Edson pedestal guard without cutting them, hopefully. And this is a transducer wire splicer. Inside, it has a little piece that you hook wires to both sides. Screw it down, it goes inside there. Wires come from either side. It clamps down here, tightens down, keep your wire nice and snug, and hopefully that'll solve our issue. And last but not least, we have fuses. So that's the basic kit for installing our Chartplotter. Hopefully everything works out good. So today we're going to install our Chartplotter. You saw the unboxing video earlier, or maybe you skipped past it to the good part. Either way, the Chartplotter is going to mount here, and it's going to stick off to the side of just under this nav pod. The wires will go down through this Edson pedestal guard, which we will have to take off and drill a hole to get the wires through there. If you come around here, you can see that there's already a little bitty hole right here, which is 3/4 of an inch in diameter. So basically what we're going to do is just run the wire up or down through this pre-existing hole, and then use this grommet, which will fit in there, which will protect the wire. So basically the only thing coming out of there will be the wire, and it won't be rubbing against the metal, and should make a nice clean install. So, and then down here we're going to have to drill a hole beneath this. We don't know what's beneath this right now. We're about to find out. So without further ado, let's begin. Find the string
and the
fish tape. String and a fish tape. Yay! So this is the transducer cable, and it's got this connector on the end, which is about the same size as the hole in our Edson pedestal guard, as is this thing, whatever this is. So we can't get that in there. I could probably get this one in there, but there's no way that one can make the corner to turn to go down the pedestal guard. So we ran the fish tape up the guard, and we're basically going to come down here somewhere close to this transducer and just cut this cable. And we bought a proper splicing kit to splice this transducer cable. I know you're not supposed to do that, but they say if you have to do it, then they make a special splicer kit for it, and that's what we've got. So our plan is to cut this, hook it to the fish tape, pull it down through the pedestal guard, and then the outside work is basically done. Then it'll just be splicing and hooking it all up. So that's what we're going to try to do. One thing we couldn't forget when we were doing this is to make sure that we run the wire through the grommet before we put it down the Edson pedestal guard. So we proceeded to do the whole damn thing without putting the wire through the grommet. So now we have to start all over and fix it. So this is the grommet, and this time we put the wire through the grommet like we should have done the first time. So we have to run this wire from this electrical panel all the way back to meet up with the wire that we ran down the pedestal guard. So that's what we're about to do. Hopefully it'll be easy, but it might not be. I shall see. We already have a hole somewhere up here to put that wire through, so that's handy. I don't know how much we'll need, so we'll just leave that much off right now. At this point, the video would probably turn into a time lapse. So the next step is to hook the chart plotter to the electrical panel. And in order to do that, we obviously ran the wire back here, but we have to hook it to the switch that the instruments are on. And there's already something here, but upon closer inspection, I noticed that this wire here goes into this great big yellow wire, which really looks like just a normal household extension cord. And where this connects to this instrument switch is a sort of a V-shaped connection, so it's just basically allowing you to add another wire to this. When I started looking at it, I noticed that I saw that yellow cable before in our boat, and it was over here. It was behind the drawers under the microwave, and the end of it just looked like this. It goes nowhere. So it would stand to reason that if this end does nothing, then we can unhook it from that and not cause any issues whatsoever. It's cable tied in there a whole lot, so I'm going to have to clip each one of those cable ties to get to this part of that. So that's what I'm going to do right now. 23 cable ties later, and a lot of grunting and stretching, we were able to get this wire out of our boat. I don't know why this was in there. It doesn't make any sense, but now we don't have to worry about that ever again. And maybe we can get by with a little less cable ties. So now the next thing to do is put one of these on this black wire and hook it to that terminal block. The red one, we'll put a fuse on it, crimps in place, and it attaches to where that big yellow wire was right there. That way it's all connected up to the instrument switch. Turn the instrument switch on, Chartplotter comes on, at least in theory. So let's have a look. So this is the 3 amp slow blow fuse. It goes inline here. So we got the 2 wires hooked up, and now we're ready to test to make sure the power comes on when the unit is mounted. So we'll close this up and head back. This is our ram mount. It goes around the pedestal guard and it screws down like that. And it has a 1-inch ball, and there's a 1-inch ball here. So they make this piece that goes in between those. That clamps onto there like that. This one goes in there, and you tighten this down. And you can adjust this at any angle you want, which is nice. About like that. You tighten it down good and tight. And this is where our wire comes out of that grommet that we talked about earlier. So we'll plug that in there, lock it into place, and there you go. You want to come around here and have a looky? This is what it looks like from the other side. And it's all connected to the ram mounts. You can see if you're sitting down, you can see it just fine. If you're standing up, you can also see it fine. So I think that worked out really good. So here we go. Instruments are on, as we can see. Wind, depth, speed. So I will hold down the power button. And I don't see anything. Great. I guess you can turn that off.
A few moments later.
Okay, so we got the power cables all hooked up, all ready to go. Got power to the other instruments, so we will just hold this down and see what happens. Yay! Dragonfly. 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 I think it does this a couple of times, 2, 3, 4 times maybe. It does say Pro at the bottom, so that's good. So whenever we're done for the day and we're ready to pack it up, we just unlock this, pull that wire out. It has a little cap, protect it from the weather. Hang that there. Fish jumping. Unhook the ram mount. Take this down below, and you're all set. Since we didn't have small enough tools with us or enough daylight hours, we decided to postpone the Transducer install and Chartplotter demonstration for a future video. Installing our Chartplotter ended up being quite a bit of work, but we were completely satisfied with the end result. Sure, we could have just pulled into the marina, handed over a sack full of cash, come back a few days later and been done with it. But now, the next time we need to install one, we'll already know how to do it, so it'll be much easier. Also, if anyone ever needs help installing a Chartplotter, we now have the ability to advise and lend a hand, and that could prove more valuable than the money we saved by not paying someone else to do it. On the surface, installing a Chartplotter just seems like another labor-intensive manual project that results in being able to get from A to B and see what's under the water. But installing and learning to use the Chartplotter is another stepping stone on the path to our end goal of being full-time sailors. It is also symbolic of setting a course in our lives and knowing that with some hard work, that sweat equity can pay off, and ultimately, we can achieve anything that we set out to do. Thank you so much for watching our video. Don't forget to hit the like button, and if you enjoyed the video, subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. Also, you can find us at svSomeday on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, or at svSomeday.com.